got drafted. I went to low A, and it was like, what the? Like, this is a huge step down. Like, not even close. You're traveling on bus. You're not flying. The locker rooms suck. The field's terrible. Like, it's just coming from here to there. It's like I just went back to high school.
The big league facilities are nice and all, but you think it would just keep going up. Like, this is the pinnacle of sports, and everything's still really nice. But to have a half baseball field indoors or some of the other things they have access to here is like, okay, like that's special. You ain't gonna find that anywhere else.
Razorback greats Heston Kjerstad and Dominic Fletcher went from lighting up Baum Walker Stadium a few short years ago.
Center field, Fletcher, yes, he got it! And a fire to third, double play! The best center fielder in the SEC does it again! Back towards the fence, and 4 will score on a grand slam from Kjerstad!
To playing in the big leagues.
Heston Kjerstad cranks one, deep right for his first major league hit! Dominic Fletcher, goodbye, his first big league home run!
162 games is like a lot.
Yeah.
But you get to make, a bunch of really good friends. It's like a bunch of big little kids with a lot of money.
However, it's not all fun and games at the top. Both athletes thrive on the intense competition.
Once you get your opportunity, you got to keep fighting because someone wants your job.
If you aren't better than the guy next to you, he's going to be playing and you're not.
It's that reason we were able to catch up with both as they are back in Fayetteville, training in what they say is the best facility around, all in preparation for opening day.
There's no really better place to be able to come work out and hit. To be able to hit indoors and see ball flight like you're outside is something that you can't really get anywhere else in the country.
How much NLI money would you make if they had that while you're in school?
We got a couple of pro ball players here sitting in a new building for you guys. This was built in 21. Heston Kjerstad, Dominic Fletcher. You guys didn't have this building, right? I mean, it happened like right after you left.
Yeah, these kids are spoiled over here nowadays.
We still had it really good. It's just this is a step up from what we had. So it's awesome that they're able to have some support to be able to build something like this for sure.
So you guys come here in the off season. Dom, tell me about that. What's cool to how long you been doing it since you went pro?
Yeah, pretty much since I got drafted. I've been here pretty much every off season. There's no really better place to be able to come work out and hit. Obviously that amazing facility over there, to be able to hit indoors and see ball flight like you're outside is something that you can't really get anywhere else in the country.
Really?
Yeah. The Fowler is like one of a kind. Like I've never been to another facility like that.
And you play in the big leagues?
Yeah. There's nowhere else that has
So the big leagues you don't have that?
No.
The big league facilities are nice and all, but surprisingly, a college program you can say has like nicer facilities and better means than that, which is crazy to think. You think it would just keep going up. Like, this is the pinnacle of sports, and everything's still really nice, but to have a half baseball field indoors or some of the other things they have access to here is like, okay, like that's special. You ain't gonna find that anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around a little bit, seen minor league facilities and things like that, and I've always thought to myself, like, if you play baseball at a high-end college program like this one, and this might be the best one in terms of facilities and just everything Coach Van Horn has built here with players like you guys, when you go pro, you're like, man, this is not a step up, right?
No doubt.
Like, especially the minor leagues.
No doubt. I got drafted. I went to low A. It was like in Kane County, Illinois. And it was like, what the? Like, this is a huge step down. Like, not even close. You're traveling on bus. You're not flying. The locker rooms suck. The field's terrible. Like, it's just, it gets better as you go up. Once you get to AA, AAA, big leagues, obviously really nice parks. But especially in the lower levels of the minor leagues, it's like coming from here to there. It's like, I just went back to high school. There's no fans here. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
And you're supposed to be getting better. Like, that's it. So you're going into an environment that's not as advantageous to improving. right, Heston?
100%. When you show up to those facilities after being here, you gotta make it work. Like, you don't have access to everything. You don't have all the things you have here, but that's the name of the game. You just gotta figure out what you have, and then slowly as you work your way up, you finally get back up there. This is pretty similar to the big league treatment and the big league life. You get to fly private. You get access to all the nutritionists. You get anything you need. You got access to strength coaches. And then even on top of that, the facilities or just the people you're around is really similar to what you experience.
So when they built this facility we're sitting in, the newest one in right field, if you're listening, they had in mind guys like you because you have your own space here, right? You have your own locker.
Yeah. I mean, we have a pro locker room, like 12, 15 lockers in there, packed with guys every day. Everyone has a locker. Guys come in, they change, you can shower after you lift, all that stuff. And so it's really like almost during the season, you know, you go to the field, you change, you play, and then you shower, and then you go home. It's like the same thing, but in the off season. So it's like, if I can almost simulate what I'm doing all season long and come do it in the off season and have all this perfect setup, like, why would I go anywhere else?
What's it like to come back to, like, you know, when you were playing here, it was special, but what's it like to always feel like you got that home?
It's a lot of fun, you know, to be able to come back, see some familiar faces, whether seeing DVH or Coach Thompson or Coach Hobbs and stuff, and just being able to chop it up with them again, maybe relive a couple moments, or, you know, maybe just ask them for some expertise on some things because they've saw you play a lot and they know how you play or maybe how you swing. So it's cool to have that in your back pocket. You know, I always tell people, you know, like, you play here for a couple years, whatever, you get a lifetime membership to come back here and work out while you're pursuing your pro career. So it's kind of sweet to have that available to you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You left first, Dom. You're a year ahead. You guys played together, but you left in 19 and you left in 20, right in the middle of COVID, which we'll get into. But Dom, tell me a little bit. Just give us your story since you left here. You made it to the big leagues. You were I think injured at the time of the World Series with the Diamondbacks last year, but you were on that. So just to catch up people, where you've been, like, give me your journey since leaving here a little bit, just the highlights.
Yeah. Let's see. I got drafted in 19.
Second round.
I played the rest of that year in low A. The next year was 2020. Season canceled. I ended up being lucky enough to be one of the guys selected to be at the alternate site. So we had a bunch of guys working out, kind of scrimmaging and stuff, while most guys were at home. So I was lucky enough to get at bats and get all the work in that I needed that year. And then 21, I went to AA. 22, I went back to AA for a couple weeks, AAA for the rest of the year. And then last year I started in AAA and ended up breaking with the team, like, I think in May. Had a good month. Ended up going back down to the minor leagues, came back up, got to play against my brother in the big leagues, which was really special.
That's cool.
And then I got to play with Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic, actually last spring training. And that was just a really fun, special tournament. Got to play against a lot of the best players in the world, so it was awesome.
Where are you now? What's your status with the D-backs?
So I'm going to spring training. I'll be in Major League camp. Hopefully have a chance to break with the team and see what happens. 28
games in the big league so far, is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
How about you, Heston? You were the number 2 overall pick.
Yep.
Did you expect that, by the way? I mean, that's a big deal.
Leading up to the draft.
Don't lie.
Leading up to the draft, honestly, like, we'd known, like, probably somewhere top 10. You don't know where. It just depends on who wants you. And, you know, you want to go as high as you want. We're all competitive and everything. And when the Orioles called me, I was excited to be an O and, you know, just get everything rolling for sure. It was awesome to be able to experience that.
Either one of you guys have any money left from your signing bonuses?
Okay, I haven't.
Just making sure.
I haven't spent it all.
You're still making money.
I haven't spent it all. So
number 2 pick that's a different conversation. Oh, well, man, it's not the same question. I get it, but it's not where you start. It's where you finish. Right?
Yeah.
But so tell me about your journey. I mean, you're the number 2 overall pick, so there's a lot of expectations
for sure.
But you also got drafted right in the middle of COVID.
Yep.
So that was weird. And then, or unusual, right? And then you dealt with some health stuff.
Yeah. So got drafted 2020, the 2020 season, obviously there wasn't anything. And then 2021, unfortunately, had heart inflammation or myocarditis. So that sidelined me for
Did that come
all
out
of
of nowhere? Did you even?
Yeah, just didn't really felt great. Everything, just one of those things that came about. But luckily, the team's great. They got access to all the good doctors you need to go see. So 2021, unfortunately, that was a wash with all that going on. Definitely a challenge. Learned a lot. Mentally, being away from the game and having to experience something like that wasn't fun, but maybe it got me to where I am today. And then 2022, really pumped, healthy, ready to hit spring training, start playing again. And then early on in spring training in 2022, I pulled my hamstring really good. So then I was sidelined 3 months, missed half of the 2022 season, and then finally back about June. It was actually June 10th, played my first minor league game 2 years after I got drafted. Through injuries and, some medical stuff, finally back out there playing ball. And then went to the fall league that fall. Played good out there, finally kind of found my groove again and got my feet under me, really feeling good about how I was playing, took that into the offseason. And then spring training this year, kind of got invited to big league camp, had a good spring, continued what I was doing in the fall, and then started this year in AA, played there for like 2 months, called up to AAA, played there for like 2 or 3 months, and then finally September 14th this year, got called up to the big leagues in the middle of their playoff chase. So that was definitely not the journey I expected from getting drafted to getting to the big leagues, but everybody's got their journey, and there's going to be some things you got to go through or persevere through, and that's just life.
I don't know what the stats are, but we see guys get drafted all the time in the first 2 rounds that don't pan out, and it's hard to make it to the big leagues. I mean, there's so many guys playing in minor league baseball. When you go through that, like that, it'd be easy to kind of think, man, this just isn't going to work. How did you? When you don't play for 2 years, I mean, Don was just talking about how he was lucky to get to go, just keep swinging a bat and playing ball where other guys are sitting at home. You don't want to be away from a game when you're trying to climb a ladder.
Yeah.
It's a long ladder, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get through that?
No, definitely, it was one of those things, that it's unfortunate. A lot of guys don't have to go through some of those challenges, but for me, it was just like, so what? Like, what do you can't do anything. The only thing you can do now is keep moving forward, even though you probably got knocked down a little bit more. Maybe you're fighting some things some other guys aren't going through, but nobody really cares. And there's no option for me. It's, make it to the big leagues and stay there, and you just gotta keep working for that. So just kind of kept my head down, tried to stay positive as much as you can through those times, but and then you just gotta do whatever you gotta do to get to the goals you want to accomplish.
Yeah. Dom, you went through some tough stuff too, right? You lost your father. And
in the middle of last year.
Yeah.
That was tough.
You've had injuries your whole career.
Yeah. You get little things here and there, nothing like that.
Right.
But
I think that must have been tough though.
Yeah. It was a tough time, obviously, for me and my family and my brother. And then just 3 weeks later, we were playing against each other in the big leagues. So that was super special to us.
Must have been emotional.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, your brother's been in the big leagues roughly how long, David?
5 years.
Yeah.
All
right, I want to hear this from both of you. Everybody's got their own story. When you get the call, first of all, just every level. Let's just start there. When you're you're going from small A to big A to double A to triple A. Like, what are those steps like? Is every one of them a big deal? Do you kind of know what's coming?
I think they kind of like make everyone kind of a big deal somewhat. Yeah. And especially as you get closer, you get to AAA and it's like, okay, like you're one call away, you have a couple good weeks and you can be up there. So I think definitely getting to AAA and then getting to the big leagues are the two biggest.
Is there a big jump like in skill, like dealing with pitching or that kind of stuff from double to AAA?
Double to AAA, I don't think there's too big of a difference.
No.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Pretty similar. Double A, AAA. just probably guys a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned. But the biggest jump, without a doubt. Guys always said it. I don't know if he'll agree with me, but AAA to the big leagues, it's different for sure.
Yeah. And you agree with him? Like, was it?
Yeah. And it's not only like people are like, oh yeah, like the pitching's this much better. And it's like, yeah, well also the defenders out there are better. It's like the pitchers are better, and you smoke a ball, 10 feet to the right of this guy, he picks it and throws you out, and it's like, yeah, the defenders are also better. So it's like it's harder to find holes out there, and the pitchers are throwing a lot better stuff, and it's like, well, you got to figure it out.
Yeah. But when you got the call,
God, where was I?
What do you remember about it?
It was late. It was like probably 11:30-ish, and I had already gotten home from the field, and our manager calls me, and he's like, hey, you need to come back over the field. And I'm like, why? What's
Is
up?
after a game?
Yeah, it's like 11:30 midnight. He's like, you need to come back over the field so you can pick up all your stuff and take it on a plane. You're going to the big leagues. And it's like, oh crap. Well, like where are we playing? Like what time's my flight? We had a noon game the next day.
12 hours away from right now.
In Colorado. I had a 5 a.m. flight. So by the time I got all my stuff from the field, went home, packed all that stuff, it was like, all right, I'm going to the airport. I closed my eyes for maybe 30 minutes, probably didn't sleep, went to the airport, hopped on a plane, got there like 2.5 hours before game time, introduced myself to a lot of people. I know most of the guys, introduced myself to people that I haven't
That's got to be weird too.
Yeah. It's
like
but you get used to it once you like, as you go up, because like in AA and AAA, the turnover is like, sense. From year to year, like there's a ton of new guys. Guys get traded, guys get released, guys get signed. So in AAA, like there's a lot of transactions. So you're constantly meeting new guys in the locker room. So it gets kind of regular after a while. But I remember I got there, I met everybody, got all my stuff kind of situated. I wasn't in the lineup, so I was kind of just hanging out. Didn't really do much. I'm just sitting in the dugout. I think we're down like 10. It's like the 8th inning, and one of the coaches comes with me like, hey, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm ready. They threw me out there in the outfield, and I ended up getting in a bat and getting a hit, which like
your first at bat?
Yeah, off a lefty, which I was not expecting. Like I wasn't expecting to come in the game at all. And then just ended up getting kind of filleting a ball into the gap. Didn't hit it very hard, but it got down. And I feel like once you get that first one out of the way, it's like, all right, now like let's go. I feel like a lot of guys get up there and like, once you get like 6 or 7 at bats and you still don't have one, it's kind of like, oh crap, like I need to get a hit. You know what I mean? You start kind of putting some pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
So I think getting that first one out of the way early was big, and then kind of got rolling for a couple of weeks after that.
That's awesome, man. What did you play center or a different?
I played right my first game. I ended up playing like probably half my games in center.
Okay. It's pretty big. Like I don't know the average height, but like 5'6" to be center fielder in the big leagues. Does that happen every day? I don't know. I don't think so. That's not. I don't know. That's the prototype. Like if you Wikipedia, what's a center fielder in big league ball look like? I'm not sure 5'6", and I'm 5'6", so I'm rooting for you every day.
I'm 5'9". They have me listed at 5'6".
They messed up.
But it was they messed up. They messed up. I know. They took like 3 inches. I asked them like,
you're supposed to be go the other way. You're supposed to be like 6'1" if you're 5'9".
First game, I look at the scoreboard. I'm like 5'6". Like what? The But
that's great. Well, it was for me. They did it for the little guys.
I like it. It's like, sure. I'm 5'6".
You see you punch above your weight now.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you remember about getting called up, Heston?
So mine was I actually got pulled from the game, like halfway through the game. I was out and right. I was just like thinking
AAA.
I was in AAA, just thinking about my next at bat. And then our manager like started walking down towards the dugout, and he normally doesn't leave his step. I'm like in there like putting my glove up, like thinking about like my approach of this hitter. And he comes up to me and he's like, hey, you're done the rest of the game. And I didn't even like really think about it. I was like, hold up, wait, what? What'd you say? And he's like, you can't play anymore. And I was like, what do you like mean? Like that doesn't make sense. And he's like front office, like stuff, like someone went down, like you precautionary, like you're not playing anymore. So you kind of know in that moment when you get pulled from a game and it's like they said it's precautionary front office, like someone got hurt in the big leagues, you're probably getting called up. So like, you know, I had to sit through the rest of the game, and then like they had to wait until they like, you know, make up their mind. So I was eating after the game or whatever, and everybody's kind of like, oh, like, is he getting called up? Like, what's going on? And then finally I was just like walking down the hallway or whatever, and then our manager pulled me in. And he was like, hey, pack up everything. Like, you're going up to the show. Like, go do your thing. And then mine was a little bit easier travel than Dom's. I only had to fly like an hour flight. We had a night game against the Rays, so I just flew in for that. And then my first game was a pinch hit late in the game against the Rays or whatever. Really good bullpen. Punched out my first AB. Guy, really, really good pitch mix, everything. And then I started the next game, and it took me till my third at bat to get my first hit. But it was a homer to break up a no-hitter off Eflin. And, you know, I was 0 for 2.
You're starting to feel
after
3,
yeah.
You're starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, so like 0 for 2 on a normal day is like, oh, like there's a lot of game left, but 0 for 2, trying to get that first big league hit. My family's in the stands. Most of them are leaving like after this game. I'm like, okay, like I gotta get the first hit out of the way, like while my brothers and family and everybody's still here. And luckily, you know, got the right pitch and drove it out of the park. So it was one of those moments, you know, you'll never forget. You always replay or whatever. So I think the whole journey was really fun. I was packing my apartment at till like 2 a.m. Luckily, my girlfriend at the time, fiance now, she was a champ. I was on the phone talking to everybody. She was packing most of my stuff in the apartment. I was calling my dad. I was calling guys like Dom, and she's like, you want this? And I was like, I don't care. I'll leave everything here. Just give me it. It doesn't matter.
You got that stuff there too.
Yeah, like I just need my baseball bat.
I'll buy new clothes.
Yeah, we're good. Like baseball bat, pair of clothes to wear to the stadium. I'm like, I'm good.
I can't imagine what you guys must be feeling in that moment. Like such excitement.
Yeah.
You know, so cool. It's cool to hear you guys be genuine about your thoughts too. Yeah. You know, like we watch you play, and it's just like, oh, they're mentally tough, and you got to block stuff out to get it. But you really do have those feelings. Like, this is my last day. My family's here. It'd be really nice if I could get it.
No, exactly. Like I didn't want my family like they were there. I'm like, dang, I came all this way, and they're just gonna watch me go like 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, and
yeah,
they get to watch the first hit on TV. I was like, you know, it's not like I tried any harder. I was trying as hard as I can for sure every at bat, you know. But that was just, you know, those are the things you think of. You want to do good for yourself. You want to do good to help the team win, to chase the playoffs, and then, you know, you want to do good for the people that have helped you, or just, you know, anybody watching. That's just what you do, you know, being competitive at everything. So
go ahead.
I think that's just early too. Like when you first get up there, it's like you get those thoughts, and then once you get settled in and once you get rolling, like it's just back to normal. You're playing the same game you've been playing forever, so it's like you get a couple games in there, and then everything goes back to normal, and you just keep playing like you have been your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's been a great path for both of you guys. I mean, for you to get that hit though, Dom and Heston, for you to hit the home run, it was like, I mean, and you tore it up in AAA. I mean, you led, you know, in so many offensive categories, hit over 300, all that. But when you got that hit, Dom, and when you hit that home run, were those like the best hits of your life, like because it's in the big league, or do you even think about it like that? Like,
that's
like that first hit.
That's the one, like that's what you've like thought about. You know what I mean? Like everybody, like
especially a home run.
When we're in college, like that's probably what we talk about. Like, oh, dude, like get up there, like your first hit. Like that's probably like the one you'll remember most. Like there'll probably be, hopefully we get some milestones down the road.
That's what I was going to say. Hopefully there's bigger hits than that.
Maybe Dom hits like some crazy playoff home runs, or maybe some walk-off hits. Like, you know, there could be moments that eclipse it, but for a lot of people, that's probably the pinnacle of like, dang, that was my most memorable hit in my whole career, because that's, you know, just the tip of the iceberg and the start of everything.
Well, you both have big league home runs now, so nobody can ever take that away, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to do bigger things.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have some things that you've done.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And that's gotta feel great.
Dom, how many ABs did it take you to get 2?
We both have the same amount, don't we?
Yeah, it took him like, what do you got?
We both had 2.
Less at bats. Less at bats with 2.
So how close are you guys? Just like you know, you were talking when you got drafted, you were talking to him or when you got called up.
Yeah.
But you guys spend a lot of time talking.
I see this guy way too much.
Yeah.
We're just in here together every day.
You got another brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
No, it probably started, we used to be roommates like in college, like mainly on the road. We were like roommates or whatever. And then like from there, we've just been, you know, just good friends, whatever, keeping up with each other. We talk hitting a decent amount in season, like, hey, what do you got on like this guy? Like you faced him, or like, dude, check this out, or like whatever. So, you know, he's been there for me, like even going through some of those tough times, you know, where, you know, it's cool to see him. Like when he debuted earlier in the season, I was annoying everyone in our locker room. I was like, turn on the Diamondback game. Hey, my boy's about to debut, whatever. Or, hey, turn it on. I think he started today. So it's like just being able to have someone you've like played with in college, we train with together in the off season, succeed it's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. So both of you give me kind of a sense of how you would just describe to somebody where you are in this current day. Okay, so you've played in the big leagues. You finished last year in the big leagues, right? So now what does that mean? You said you're going to big league spring training camp. Not everybody does. It's a really limited thing. But like, do you have to kind of fight for this spot on the roster? You're both kind of there, but you're also sort of on the fence. Is that
fair? So we're both on the 40-man roster.
Okay.
And so the opening day roster is a 26-man roster. So if you're on the 40-man, you automatically get a major league spring training invite. And then basically they cut it down to 26 throughout spring training. So basically at the end of spring training, you want to be left, you know, standing on the big league roster and break with the team.
Yep.
Which if you don't, you're still on the 40-man roster, but you'll go to AAA and then, you know, you're going to fight for a job there.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. You explained it really well. It's just hyper competitive. It's like anything. Like every day you go out there, like you're competing for a job. Like the objective and your whole goal on a big league team is to produce and help the team win. And as soon as somebody can produce and help the team win more than you at that spot, they're going to take your job. Or vice versa. As soon as I can produce more and help the team win more, and someone is at that position and I can outperform them or help the team more than them, that's when it's like, okay, that's your job. And no matter how many years experience you have in the big leagues, or maybe how little experience you have, anybody can take anybody's job at any moment. There's veterans that have a job and they're not going to lose it because they're so good at showing up every day and having great seasons. And then there's young guys that are going to show up and take someone's job. That's what you're doing at the end of the day. And, you know, once you get your opportunity, you know, you got to keep fighting because someone wants your job. You know what I mean?
That's just a world that most people don't live in every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, the cool thing,
maybe it should be like that.
Yeah, we've been doing it our whole life. So like it starts in Little League, in high school. It's like if you aren't better than the guy next to you, he's going to be playing and you're not. So it's like it starts in your high school team. You make your high school team and then you go to college, and it's the same thing here. You have 50 guys here in the fall. Probably 20 of them are gone. So it's like you better earn your spot or they'll find somebody else. So I feel like once you learn that at a young age, like, hey, I have to compete with the guy next to me. I got to be better than this guy so I can earn a spot. And then it just, you know, the pool gets smaller and smaller. Instead of in college competing against guys across the country, now you're competing against the whole world, guys from the Dominican, guys from Japan. So it's like the pool just gets smaller and smaller, and you just got to keep competing and trying to make your way up.
So do you keep track of all these other players and who just got drafted and who's going to, or do you just try to focus on how you're going to do you every day?
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't be worried about what this guy's doing and what that guy's doing. Oh no, this guy had a really good week or this and that. It's like, I'm going to do whatever I can do to help myself get a job, and whatever they do, it doesn't matter. Because if you're worried about what he's doing, you're not focused on what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah, he said it well. It's one of those things where, like, yes, I'm like really competitive, and like, let's say Dom and I are on the same big league team and we're both right fielders and we're kind of competing against each other for a job or like playing time, I don't really like focus on that guy. Like I'm just in my lane and I'm just like, what do I got to do today to become a better player for myself? Because, you know, that's like, there's so much competition. You can't waste your energy. Like, oh, he's playing good, I'm playing bad. That's not good. Like, it's like, okay, no, like, what can I do today to get myself better? And, you know, there's even guys you compete against for like a position or whatever. And like, y'all are honestly like good friends. You know
That's
what I mean?
what I was going to say.
Like there's even guys that you're friends with, you compete against, and like, you kind of know that, like, hey, like, but you also have to respect, like, if someone outperforms you or whatever. Cause at the end of the day, there's no favorites. There's no whatever. The favorites are the 9 guys that are going to help the team win. So, you know, you got to be able to be one of those guys and get in the lineup consistently.
How much self-discipline do you have to be what you want to be?
A lot. It starts like, even just from like a young age, like, you know, you think about back, like when I was in high school, I'll just go hit a bunch, you know, at the time, like looking back, I don't think I understood how hard it would be and how competitive it would be to accomplish like the ultimate goal of being a big leaguer and having a career in the big leagues. And, you know, you're just doing it. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, that's easy. Like, as long as I work hard, whatever. You just slowly like make your way up, and, you know, you sacrifice a lot. Like, whether it's, you know, we spend our mornings up here all off season from like 8 a.m. until 1 or 2, and we sacrifice that part of our day. Or, you know, now that we're older, you know, we go off, play in random cities
for 8 months.
Like I don't see some of my family for like the whole time, but that's like, to me, that's not even a sacrifice, because what I truly want to do is play baseball and be really good at it and play in the big leagues. So it's like, that's what I got to do to get here. It's just like, you know, training, eating right, all that. I don't even view them as like being disciplined or sacrifices. It's just my avenue to be successful. And some of those things I maybe cut out or maybe don't do, like, honestly, it's like enjoyable once you reap the benefits of your like success from it.
Yeah. Like, you go to all these cities, you know, especially in the big leagues, and there's a lot of things that could be offered to you. You know, like anybody that travels like for work, like, oh, let's go eat at this restaurant, or, oh, we got to go see that or do that. But for you, man, you know, and there's time, you know, but like I could see where that'd be easy. And we've heard all the stories. I mean, you know, you've seen them. You know, the Mets back in the day, and Gooden and Stromer and all that stuff. Like, you know, but for real, that's got to be a thing that nobody's making you do whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, other than when to be at the park and all that stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, we don't have like, during the season, like, we don't have too much free time because we play at 7 p.m. every night. You playing at 7 p.m., that doesn't mean you're getting to the field at 5. Like, you're getting to the field at noon or 1 for a 7 p.m. game. By the time it gets over, it's 11. By the time you get home, it's midnight. You go to sleep maybe 2 a.m., and then you wake up at noon, and it's like, all right, I'll roll it back to the field.
Yeah.
But it is enjoyable. It's fun.
You play so many games.
So 162 games is like a lot.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. You get to make, you know, a bunch of really good friends. You get to hang out with the guys all day and mess around in the locker room. It's like a bunch of big little kids with a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun. So
good luck to you guys moving forward. It's awesome to see what you've accomplished. And, you know, as you understand from playing here, once you've been a Razorback, people want to follow, you know, and that's just a long journey, man, for a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure you saw a lot of them in the minor leagues that haven't, you know, been around for a long time. They're hanging on to that dream. Yep. So congrats on what you've been able to accomplish. I want to go back a little bit to your time at Arkansas. Dom, what do you remember about your time at Arkansas? You both played on a 2018 CWS team. But just what do you remember about your career and what you enjoyed and kind of some of the highlights?
Honestly, like, most of the stuff I remember is outside of the baseball field, like just relationships I built with guys, just funny stuff that happened in the locker room or at home or different things like that. Obviously there's some very memorable stuff on the baseball field, but like I think what sticks with you is like the relationships you build with the guys around you, and fun stuff you guys did.
Yeah. How about you, Heston?
There's definitely a lot of stuff. Obviously, when I was here and it still is, just a lot of winning, and it probably taught me that like competitive fire of like always wanting to win. And that's one thing I missed going to the minor leagues. In the minor leagues, it's about development, not winning. So making it back to the big leagues was like that first time I got that taste since like 2020 of like, we show up to the field every day and like, we're going to dominate the team that rolls into the park to play against us. So that's what I love most about college is every day we're all literally just trying to beat up on the team that rolls into Baum Stadium. And then obviously the trips to Omaha, unreal. The fans here, the packed out stadiums, a lot of fun, electric atmospheres. The coaches were great at molding us and creating a atmosphere to springboard us onto the next level. And then most importantly, probably the stuff I'll cherish forever is the teammates, the friends, and the coaches you build relationships with guys you keep in touch with, or people you get to see go excel and accomplish their dreams, whether it's the coaches or maybe players you played with and all that. You just build some good relationships. Like Dom and I here, like, ever since college, we've been friends with each other and always keep up with each other, stuff like that. That's like, okay, that was awesome. And then, just being able to be a part of this history and winning program and all that, something you can kind of attach your name to and be a part of a great program. That's something that's really cool to be able to been here and do that.
Dom, what do you remember about, Coach Van Horn, the coaching staff, the culture, and how did it help move you forward into your professional career?
I feel like they treat the guys like professionals. You come in as a kid, a 17, 18-year-old kid, and you leave here, a professional. And that's what they're really good at, and that's what they've been doing for years. You go down there and look at the board of all the big leaguers down there, and it's like they're pumping out big leaguers out of here since Van Horn's been here, and even Norm and before that. Yeah. I don't know. He treats you like a man, and he expects you to act like a man. But then he has those times where he wants to mess around with you, and it's okay to, throw a jab at him here and there, and he likes it. But I think just a little bit of both, like some tough love, and then like building a good relationship with you at the same time. Obviously, like he'll get on your butt if you're being lazy or if you're not doing what you need to do. But he'll have fun with you at the same time. So it's been really special to be able to create a relationship with him like that and still mess around with him and see him in here all the time is fun.
You mentioned Norm DeBryan. What if I told you guys that when Norm DeBryan got here, he was teaching driver's ed. Baseball coach was not a full-time job, and they had to kick the band off of the fairgrounds, or they got kicked off the fairgrounds from practice for the band, so the band could practice. That's where the baseball program ranked at that point in time.
That's crazy.
When he got here. Now look.
Yeah, that's
now look around.
Yeah,
isn't that wild?
We still run into him here and there. He kind of comes around the building every once in a while, and we'll stop and talk to him for a while.
You need to bring that up to him. And if you're bored on a plane or something, go listen to episode 2. It's the second one we ever did. We've done over 100 and whatever now of the Hog Pod. It's hilarious. He's hilarious. That's awesome. But it'll give you like the story of how Arkansas baseball started.
That's really crazy.
It's just it's wild. For somebody
so he was the first coach.
Yeah, well, the first like real.
First
I mean, they had a coach.
The program. You saw the dudes in there.
Oh
they
yeah,
had,
never mind.
They had
19.
There's a guy in the picture that looked like Babe Ruth in there.
Well, I mean, university's been around since like 1871, right?
Right.
He's
like
he's saying
he's the first legitimate.
Started.
No, it is though. It's the first legitimate when it started becoming a.
When it started like a powerhouse. Okay.
Like an actual program. I mean, like I told, they were getting kicked off the fairgrounds. So like they're out there taking ground balls. He tells the story, and a truck or bus shows up or whatever, and it's the band, and they all just start unloading their stuff and taking over the fairgrounds. They didn't have a field.
That's crazy.
So that's how far back, it goes. But let me wrap it up with this. But I like to ask anybody that's played here this. And well, before I do, I want to bring this up because we did a podcast one time. I don't remember if we did one.
No, I don't think
we did. So I'm glad we're getting to do this. But that's what happens when you're a year too early. Like Heston was here when we're here.
Yeah.
But Heston had an iconic moment where he knocked a Texas player on their butt. And you know how Arkansas fans can't stand Texas.
Yeah, that meme. I still get tagged in that meme.
Like of all stuff you've done, like that's what people are gonna remember.
No,
you knocked some guy on his butt. Like,
yeah,
and acted like it wasn't on purpose. But I mean,
he was like on top of the base.
Yeah,
you know, I was trying to get to the base.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. That's called an opportunity.
Yeah, I still
right?
every time, anytime, University of Arkansas, like football, basketball, baseball, softball, like anybody plays Texas, my Twitter gets blown up from that meme for sure. Like it's guaranteed. Like they played Texas in football like a year or two ago, and that's all I'm getting tagged in on Twitter for like 3 days before the game. But it's fun. I enjoy it, embrace it.
Did we play Texas in baseball this year?
This year, I don't know. I haven't looked at the baseball
I'll
schedule.
give you a heads up
know?
if they do. I'll start
Because they're in the SEC now.
Yeah, I know.
So that's gonna be
cool.
But
that's gonna be a whole other
How'd
deal.
they split the SEC up, though?
I'm not sure.
There's only
in
2
baseball.
teams you play every year, and then the rest is like
Just
rotating.
mixed.
Yeah, but they'll be playing them more. I mean, I think
that'll be cool.
I think it's safe to say. So Heston, you remember for some bomb home runs, great arm right field. Dom, you hit a lot of home runs. You did a lot of great things, but I think you might be the best center fielder, and I'm going to be stepping on a lot of toes in Arkansas history. But I mean, like, I just remember, like, the whole story was like you had a knack for the ball coming off the bat. Like, you never had a misstep. So you both had, like, these are things that people will remember about your careers. But I want to ask you both, start with you, Dom. Now that your time here is over in terms of playing as a Razorback, how do you hope people remember you as a Razorback? Like, if you got to pick, how do you hope they remember? And that may not be as important now, but when you're 60, you'll be like, oh, you know, I hope they remember that and you're walking out here waving at everybody, you know, when they welcome back the 2018 World Series team or whatever.
No, probably just that. Probably, you know, a center fielder that goes out there and tries to run everything down, take away hits from the other team. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that much at all.
It's a different question for sure. But I think you're solid with that. I think they'll remember the Hog fans that saw you play. How about you, Heston?
Sure. You know, that is a tough one because, you know, I never really think about people's opinions too much because, you know, I kind of just, you know, stay in my lane. But if people were to, like, you know, remember me for something, definitely, you know, hopefully, you know, they remember some of the home runs I hit, or maybe it's just the guy they wanted up when the game was on the line or something like that. You know, that's what I loved, was being in the box or watching the ball fly out and hear the Hogs get called after you'd hit a home run. That was some of the funnest experience I had.
Well, you're both a couple great dudes. I mean, you guys signed autographs, stuck around forever, talked to people, you know. You're still got humility. I don't know how long you'll have that, but no, congratulations on that. You did a couple great dudes. Let me just one more question. What was it like playing, now that you've played in big league parks? Like, what would you say about playing at Baum Stadium?
Like, it's very similar. I mean, it's just an extra deck on the big league parks, but the fans aren't locked in like they are here.
Yeah.
I feel like the fans here are into every pitch. They're loud. They're crazy. They like to talk crap.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's a little bit smaller of a crowd, but I feel like they're probably just as loud and a little rowdier. Definitely, I like this kind of crowd more. Probably more fun to play in front of.
Yeah.
But it's a little different. I feel like big league games are a little more relaxed. Like, people want to sit there and enjoy a beer and watch a game. Playoff games, obviously different, but regular season games, it's just kind of chill and relaxed for the most part at most places. But here, like, you can get a random, you know, Tuesday that'll be pretty rowdy. So
Yeah, nah, for sure. Pretty similar. Like just being in the atmosphere is probably like prepared us for the big leagues, honestly, because there's not, when you're in the minor leagues, everybody's just there to hang out. They're not cheering for like you. They're just cheering because like you got a hit or whatever. They're not really picking teams or anything like that. Like here was really similar to like the big leagues. The fans are even more locked in here. They care just as much, if not more. They probably honestly care more because everybody bleeds Razorback red and die hard, which I am too now. So I understand it. And I would say it's just really similar. Seeing some of those playoffs atmospheres, you know, up here you get like 12,000 fans in here, you know, and for 12,000 fans, it's really loud stadium. And, you know, all those stadiums just got more seats. I'm sure for some of those super regionals, if we had 20, 25,000, maybe 30,000 seats to sell out, I'm pretty sure you'd get just as good as atmosphere as Camden Yards or like the Rangers Stadium sold out in Division Series and the playoffs. That's just so electric. And not many guys get to play in front of that. Some guys show up to the big leagues game one, and that's the first time they've played in front of fans that are like rooting for the team they're wearing across their chest. Or, you know, the fans, you're in the stadium, and if you win, you know, you're sending all your fans home happy. And then, you know, you're losing, the fans are walking out of the stadium early, it's on you and you got to wear it. So, you know, being able to experience that at a young age and here was awesome. Would definitely kill the, you know, play one more game out here and, you know, hear the Hogs get called and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, that's special, man.
For people to know like every player on a college team, like people don't realize how crazy that is. Like you go to UCLA or you go to like, I don't name any school, and it's like nobody knows who, you know, so and so is. You come here and it's like people know your name, people are rooting for you, people recognize you outside of the stadium. It's like there's not a college in the country that you can say that about.
Also, I'd say they're really good fans. There's two type of fans. There's fans that, you know, they just want to be with you when you're up, and then they want to be on you when you're down. Yeah. But I would say here, like, you truly feel the fans are like, all right, like they're pulling for you. Like they want you to do really good so they can support you. And then even when you have a couple of your tough times or whatever, the fans are still like, you know, still there for you.
Yeah. Hey, apathy's not a good thing. Yeah. You need them to care, right? Like that's what makes it go around.
No doubt.
And we certainly have that. That's one of the many great perks about being a Razorback.
For sure.
Well, guys, thanks, man. This was fun.
Yeah,
no problem. Thanks for having us. It's good to be on here again.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to you guys.